Welcome to the start of your behavior volunteer journey. We are so excited to have you. At Friends for Life, we have a state-of-the-art behavior program, which is truly one of its kind, meaning it's the only one of its kind offered here in Houston. We pride ourselves on being a teaching facility here. That means for staff, for volunteers, for fosters, adopters, and the community as a whole. So as long as you have a willingness to learn and an eagerness to help animals, you're in the right spot. We are thrilled to have you as a part of our volunteer tribe. Let's jump in. So what does it mean to be a behavior volunteer at Friends for Life? BV stands for Behavior Volunteer. The numbers after BV represent the level of training you've completed. You'll start out as a Behavior Volunteer Level 1, focused on enrichment. You can take the 5-tiered format of our BV program all the way up to Level 5 and work towards your trainer certification. Here's what you can expect as a BV1 volunteer. During your time at the shelter, you'll be providing various forms of enrichment to our cats and our dogs. We will pair you with a staff member or other experienced volunteer during your first shifts. On dog side, you will always be paired with another staff member or more experienced volunteer. As a BV1, you will be required to finish 30 enrichment sessions. Reminder, this is sessions, not hours, and we will ask you to log them accordingly on your volunteer portal to track your progress. This is important because once you log 30 sessions, you'll be qualified to take the next level of training, which is BV2 training. We might also ask you to help with occasional treat cutting and general cleaning at the shelter while you're here. You have the choice to provide enrichment as a BV1 volunteer to our cats or our dogs, or both. It's up to you. Just make sure to watch the appropriate training videos on your portal so that you can be qualified to sign up for the shifts that most interest you. Once you finish your 30 enrichment sessions, you'll then be eligible to start your BV2 training, which most folks tend to do because it allows you to work more hands-on with our animals at the shelter. BV2 will expand your body language knowledge and help you become an overall more skilled handler. How far you take your BV journey is entirely up to you. Many folks want to learn more and geek out on behavior after BV2, and potentially even work towards becoming a behavior consultant or certified trainer. If that interests you, then leveling up is the way to go. Here's some more information on what you'd learn in BV levels 3 through 5. In BV3, you'll be focusing on learning theory, training novel behaviors, and mechanical skill. BV4 is all about preparing you for your independent certification in animal training. You'll learn how to manage classrooms and consultations, how to solve simple behavior problems, and learn professional behavior consultant ethics. And the final level, BV5, is all about learning how to conduct different methods of data collection and functional assessments or analysis for more advanced behavior cases, for writing and discussing case studies. At this level, you'd be preparing for independent certification as a behavior consultant. It's entirely up to you how far you want to take your BV journey, although I would strongly recommend moving up to BV2. You'll have more shift options for sign up, and as mentioned, you'll get to work more hands-on with our animals at the shelter. At Friends for Life, part of our mission is taking in the last chance animals. This can sometimes mean the medical cases, the behavior cases, and the fraidy cats. We are foster-based, which means the majority of our animals live off-site, but we do have several dog kennels at the shelter along with 3 community cat rooms, as well as our medical and behavior cats, which are located in the back of house. You joining us as a behavior volunteer is not only helpful, it's vital, as it directly relates to our animals' rehabilitation, and it aids them in their progress towards finding their forever home, which is always the goal. As a dog volunteer, you will only work hands-on with the dogs alongside a staff member or trained volunteer. You'll also be able to meet some of our dogs and start to build those relationships during your time as a BV1. As a cat volunteer, you'll provide enrichment to our cats in the 3 main community cat rooms. Up next, our Behavior and Training Manager, Melissa, will go more into detail about what exactly is enrichment, why is it important, and what different types of enrichment will you be able to provide during your shifts.
As Lexi said, BV1 focuses on enrichment. Enrichment is something you may have heard of. It's something that zoos really try to provide for their animals, and it's something that trainers and behavior consultants often encourage adopters to provide for their animals. In fact, when we see problem behavior cases, we see the problems resolve themselves sometimes just by providing animals with more enrichment. So what is enrichment? Well, like our friends at the zoo say, enrich stands for encouraging natural responses in captive habitats. So it's more than just giving your dog or cat some busy work to tire them out. It's giving them activities that engage their natural inclinations, things that animals would naturally want to do. For example, dogs will naturally want to chew things, and cats naturally want to scratch. Giving them these types of activities to do, providing an appropriate outlet for their desire to carry out these behaviors, reduces stress and improves well-being, which is so important for our shelter animals who have been uprooted and now are living somewhere that is completely different from what they've been used to. It provides physical and mental stimulation, and when they have those outlets for those types of stimulation, they're less likely to engage in problem behaviors. It also gives our animals more control over their environment, so they can decide whether to engage with a type of enrichment or not, and that control reduces the stress related to being at the shelter. To ensure that our animals are engaging in a wide variety of activities, we have split up enrichment into several categories. These categories are foraging, in-kennel, scent, physical, field trip, and auditory enrichment. Here's what the categories mean. Foraging is also known as gustatory enrichment. It's a type of enrichment that involves getting food. Like we were talking about earlier, enrichment is all about providing opportunities for animals to engage in natural responses. So think about the natural ways that animals get food. It's not from a bowl, I'll tell you that much. So for example, it could be scavenging or hunting. So we provide our animals with food not from a bowl, but for example, we might scatter some food in a towel and roll up the towel, and the dog might have to use their nose to push the towel around to unwrap the food, and that looks a little bit like scavenging. Or we might put food in an empty toilet paper tube for a cat to bat around to get their food out, and that looks a little bit like hunting a small animal. In-kennel enrichment is a type of activity that the animal engages in their living space. And it's super important, more important than you would think, because there is some evidence that just giving animals something to do inside their shelter living spaces increases the likelihood that a potential adopter will take them home. This is as simple as walking through the dog kennel and putting treats through their sniff hole, or walking through where the cat kennels are and slipping treats through the bars of the kennels. It can also mean training a dog or a cat to sit nicely in the kennel. So you just wait for them to sit, and when they do, you put a treat in the hole. And that encourages some polite behaviors, which makes it easier for us to take them out. Scent enrichment is exactly what it sounds like. It's engaging the olfactory sense of the nose. Did you know that when dogs use their noses, that it reduces their stress levels? So give them lots of things to sniff when you're out for a walk. Instead of just exercising them physically, take them on a sniff walk, give them a long line, and give them the choice to engage in scents in their environment. As we were talking about earlier, choice increases their feeling of agency, which reduces stress. It also gives them the species-appropriate behavior that they can do, which reduces the chance of them developing problematic behaviors. You can do the same for cats. You can do something called box nose work, which means you hide some of their food in little boxes and then you give them some decoy boxes with no food, and the cat has to go and sniff around and locate their food. This is very mentally engaging and more tiring than physical enrichment. Speaking of physical enrichment, this is another category of enrichment that we provide for the animals at the shelter. And I think this is something that most volunteers think of when they think of enrichment. It is taking dogs for walks or playing energetic games with the cats. And this is super important because cats and dogs both have minimum best practice recommended times that they should spend engaging in cardiovascular exercise. So help us meet those standards by doing these activities with our dogs and cats. The next category of enrichment is something we call field trips. And a field trip is something where the animal is leaving their living space. So for the dog, that might be going to a local park. And for the cat, it might be taking them out on a stroller walk. Or it might even be visiting the living room, which is a place where a cat might be meeting potential adopters. And if a cat is comfortable there, they might be more interested in engaging with adopters in the future. Auditory enrichment engages the sense of hearing. And this could mean playing relaxing music for the animals in their living spaces. Or even better, did you know that audiobooks are even more relaxing for dogs and cats to listen to than any other type of music? Visual enrichment is something that is extremely important for cats because they don't often get to live their living spaces. So change up what visual stimulation they have by blowing bubbles for them or playing nature videos. All of the enrichment activities that our volunteers provide our animals with are ones that fit into these different categories. So they will be logged as such. So for example, if you were going to take a cat for a stroller walk, you would be logging that as a field trip. Or if you were going to stuff a Kong and give those out to the dogs, then that would count as foraging enrichment. If you were going to play flirt pole with a dog or a cat, that would be a physical type of enrichment that you would log. Whenever you volunteer at Friends for Life, try to engage with the animals in different types of enrichment. Use the different categories of enrichment, and within each category, try a different type of activity. This will give our animals a rich life while they spend their time at the shelter so that they can be as happy as possible until they can find their forever homes.
Here's a few housekeeping items before we wrap up. A reminder, you are to log 30 sessions, not 30 hours. Some sessions are 10 minutes, some sessions are 20 minutes. It just kind of depends. But generally speaking, you are able to knock out several sessions in just 1 hour of volunteer time. Please log all of your hours. It not only tracks your progress as a volunteer, but it also keeps your account active, makes you eligible for certain volunteer milestone achievements, and it also helps us with grants. No need to stick to one species. Helping with both cats and dogs is strongly encouraged. You will need to complete training for both and log 30 sessions for cats and 30 sessions for dogs. before you're eligible to move up to BV2 for cats and dogs. If you haven't completed your new volunteer tour at the shelter yet, we'll be giving you a new volunteer packet, which includes our enrichment category grid, a behavior volunteer journey map, and a handout on how to sign up for shifts and log your hours. If ever you forget how to log your hours or you need a reminder of the BV journey process, you can access all of those handouts on the document library on your volunteer portal. Simply go to your home page and scroll all the way down. On the bottom right-hand side, there's a section titled Files. You can click on See All Files to find the handouts you need. If you're on Facebook, make sure to join our Behavior Volunteer Facebook group page. We post lots of cool information, training videos, photos, suggestions, and the occasional meme. You can find the link to join on your homepage of your volunteer portal. Just scroll towards the bottom and find the section titled Let's Get Social. While you're there, make sure to also join our Discord app. This is the app we use so that you can meet other behavior volunteers, ask questions to the training manager, get to know the behavior team, and much more. If you've already watched all of your training videos and come in for your new volunteer tour, that means you're ready to sign up for your first shift. Hope to see you around the shelter soon.